So an iPhone 12 kind of looks the same as a 16. They both have vertical cameras, and they're a similar size. But there's a difference. The iPhone 16 can take sharper, crisper pictures. This is because it has a 48 megapixel camera instead of just the 12 megapixel camera in iPhone 12. This allows it to do better at nighttime photography as well. It also has the camera control capture button thing, which is certainly an innovation I've never seen on any other phone before. Now, iPhone 16 and technically 15 have a USB-C port, which means they can charge with the same cable used to charge most recent iPads. This also means it can connect to more accessories, including ones not made particularly for Apple products. This makes iPhone 15, and for that matter 16, a great choice if you just switched from Android. I should clarify, iPhone 15 does not have an action button or camera control, unless you have a 15 Pro, which does have the action button, but we're getting off topic. Currently, these are the Black Friday deals for these phones. The iPhone 16 from Apple.com is the same $799 that it was before Black Friday. I don't think Apple even does Black Friday, so yeah. Okay, iPhone 12 is not available at all from Apple.com. You can see it later in the used and refurbished online stores sections. The oldest iPhone you can actually order from Apple is the 14, and that costs $599, depending, as with all phones, on whether you buy more storage, which will make it more expensive. Because you can't get unlocked iPhones new anymore from anywhere that isn't Apple, here's the list of carrier prices per month and how many months it takes to pay it off. And besides, let's face it, you're probably going to be getting your phone through your carrier anyway, since that's the most usual way of doing it. I like to do things completely outside of a carrier and buy unlocked, because that gives me the freedom to someday switch to another carrier if I so desire. T-Mobile has been fine, so I probably won't. But anyway, speaking of T-Mobile, that costs $34.59 for 24 months or 2 years. That's a total of $830.16. Verizon costs just $23.05, which is quite a bit lower than $34.59. However, you do pay that for 36 months/3 years, so that's one more year. That totals out to $829.80. AT&T costs $23.06 for 36 months/3 years. That's $830.16. So T-Mobile and AT&T are the exact same price, as in the same total, but T-Mobile gets the job done 1 year faster and a bit more expensively. Verizon is the cheapest, but only by 36 cents. T-Mobile, on the other hand, allows you to pay it off in just 2 years, but you pay more per month. None of these networks offer the iPhone 12 because it's just too old. Now let's look at the king of used awesomeness, Swappa. Here, the iPhone 12 starts at $179 for 64 gigabytes of storage, and the battery health is still mostly good at 81%. On Swappa, iPhone 16 starts at $699, that's $100 less than Apple, for 128 gigabytes storage, since iPhone 16 does not have a 64 gigabyte option, and it still has 100% battery health. 128 gigabytes is double 64. You've surely heard of back market, but if you haven't, let me just fix that. The iPhone 12 starts at $239.24 here, and the iPhone 16 starts at $688. So back market's a little bit cheaper in this particular case. Back market is more careful than Swappa at refurbishing devices and making sure they work, but back market is often more expensive because of that. I haven't had any problems with any of the devices I've bought from Swappa so far, but back market is definitely a bit more polished. Facebook Marketplace does have iPhone 12s, but is not as organized as Swappa or back market. So when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, buy at your own risk. And besides, prices are a bit higher on Facebook Marketplace anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't do that. There isn't a good way to narrow down the different iPhone 16 models on Facebook Marketplace because they're kind of just all over the place and people have the wrong phone and they call it the wrong name and all of them come up. So you could be getting a 16 Pro Max or a 15 with a cracked screen. But anyway, I found an iPhone 16 for, I kid you not, $850, which is way more than Swappa, back market, or even Apple would cost. Plug Tech has a holiday deal for iPhone 12 for only $279.99, but they don't say anything anywhere on the site about battery health, so it's probably pretty bad. They do, however, give you a pre-applied screen protector, a cable, a fast charger, and a case. That's more than you get from Apple these days. If you search iPhone 12 in the search bar, it goes as low as $249.99 for carrier unlocked and 64GB storage. So they have iPhone 12 from around $280 down to around $250. PlugTech doesn't have any iPhone 16s yet. And that's probably because it's such a new model that, well, everybody who's bought one has, for the most part, still kept it. The best way to get a device from eBay is to buy from eBay Refurbished, which has a blue checkmark and a picture layout of the device in all colors back to back. It looks like this. $237.99 for a carrier unlocked iPhone 12 on eBay. That's with eBay Refurbished. Now on eBay, it's very important to read the description. This will tell you if any parts were replaced. Usually I'll say don't buy a device that has had parts replaced, since it'll send you annoying messages about not being able to verify the screen, which is kind of annoying. eBay's iPhone 16s, well, they're actually very scarce. eBay Refurbished is great for bargains on entirely functional but older devices. However, it doesn't normally have the current phone generation. Maybe after the 16 series has been out for, 3/4 of a year instead of, just a few months at this point. OfferUp's prices for iPhone 12 were too high to be worth mentioning here. OfferUp is a network that's mainly, they try to keep things local so you can kind of drive somewhere and pick it up from somebody, which is a really cool idea, but it also means there's not going to be very much available. And besides, as I said, their prices are just too high to be worth mentioning here. You do not want to buy an OfferUp iPhone 12. In fact, the prices were about double the price for a product whose listing has almost zero good pictures of the product you're spending your hard-earned money on. It's just terrible. Yeah, OfferUp is not a great place for this. Although I did see a crazy low price for an iPhone 16 Pro Max, just $580, shipping price around $5, which is nuts. Maybe I should have bought that. I don't know. That's pretty good. Refurbishing basically means inspected, cleaned, tested, and that's pretty much it. It's basically like new, but please be sure to buy from places that will actually tell you the battery health. Batteries are very important. Your phone literally doesn't work well without one, unless you have it plugged in all the time. Yeah, I mean, okay, you could buy something with a bad battery that you know is really, really, really worn out if you're planning on replacing the battery anyway. In fact, that's probably one of the best ways to do it, because then, well, now you have a basically new battery. Hint. Well, more like pro tip. If you're unsure of the battery health, assume the worst. Assume the worst. You will very likely end up wanting to replace it because the battery health will probably be at like 60 or 70%, which is terrible. That won't last you for a full day, or at least it's not likely to. Again, Swappa and Back Market, linked in the description, rule the used phone roost. Thanks so much for watching. I genuinely hope this video helped you on your road to your next cheap-er iPhone. Hope to see you back soon at Thrifty Discount.